Are you looking to add some raised beds to your garden but you don't have a lot of money to spend? Well, in this video I'm going to show you how I build really cheap all wood raised beds. So this is what we're going to build today. It's a basic raised bed. It's made out of 6 fence boards, and then it's got corners, which I'm using 2x4s. You could use 2x2s, and then it's held together with stainless steel screws. Now you could definitely use stainless steel screws like I did, but you don't have to. I just had a bunch of them and might as well use them so they don't get all rusty. So first things first, you're going to need something to put in the corners. Like I said before, I use a 2x4, and what I ended up going with was just a standard white pine 2x4, and I cut it into 11-inch sections, which allowed me to stack up 2 boards and get a decent amount of dirt into the bed. Each corner, like I said, is going to be 11 inches, so you're only going to need about 4 feet of corner material per bed. I always recommend going with a heat-treated variety, whether that's cedar, pine, or something similar, and avoiding pressure-treated for raised beds. So the same goes for the fence boards that you're going to be using to build the sides of the raised bed. I always try to go for heat-treated. Again, cedar is preferable. In this case, I'm actually using incense cedar, which is a little bit different, but still has a lot of the same properties of resistance to weather and bugs as regular cedar. It's just a lot cheaper. So look at your options before you decide what you're going to build your beds with. Now you're going to need 6 of these boards per bed. So this is going to make up the bulk of your costs. Last but not least, we have the screws. As I mentioned, I use 8 of these per corner. 4 on the left, 4 on the right. You don't need to use that many. You can use 4 per corner, 1 per board. I also use personally the stainless screws. That's what I prefer for outdoors, but again, you don't have to use that. Buying in bulk is always a good option with screws, especially if you have some other projects that you can use these on in the future. Go that direction. So to make these raised beds, you're going to need the 35.5-inch or the short piece. You're going to need 2x4s, at least that's what I'm using for the corners on these. And then you're going to need the long stuff. Now that is basically an 8-foot board, no, a 6-foot board, which I chopped off the end so it's nice and flat all the way. And then I just took some of those and I cut them into those right in half. Pretty simple recipe. So first of all, you want to make sure that you find a place that's nice and flat to do this work, because if it's not, things are going to look a little wonky. You also want to try and make sure it's somewhat level. Now, what I'm showing you here is the ends. So I've got the 8 screws. The 2x4 in the corner is going to be just a bit proud of the one fence board. That's going to be the side that goes down. And now we'll speed things up a bit. Can't always get these right next to each other, but pretty close. And sometimes you might have a little bit of flex in the board, which is okay. You can always install a little piece there to brace it. So there you have it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and best of luck.